you're ready.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm DJ Kroll.
DJ Kroll? Do you prefer to be just called DJ?
DJ's great. Dylan is my proper name, but DJ rolls off the tongue better to me. So.
That makes sense. Let's see. Looking over here at your resume, I do have a question. Would you be willing to get fit and built for a role?
Yes,
an action film.
I would love an excuse to, actually. Yeah.
Okay, let's see. I'll start with the first question. What role have you done in the past do you feel most connected with, and why?
If we can use like an example off my resume, I did a scene from Silver Linings Playbook where I played Bradley Cooper's part, and I had never seen the movie before that, but I did some research on it and then watched it after filming it, and frankly, on multiple levels, that character resonates with me so much on a personal level that it was kind of difficult, actually. Like, it was almost too close to home. But I mean, I think it's a great performance, both Bradley Cooper's original, and I feel like I did a good job of it too. But just dealing with mental health issues and family drama is very relatable to me, so I like that a lot.
Okay, it's very interesting.
What is your actor type?
Well, so far I've mostly been cast, or I've chosen to do performances for like kind of more intense and maybe slightly darker male type roles. I just finished a project called The White Lake, which I believe is listed there, where I play a pretty messed up guy who is pretty serious, pretty kind of quiet and intense. And I feel like I do that pretty well. So I would see myself in like dramas or thrillers, but I also want to diversify and also kind of work on being, maybe a bit more of a lighthearted comedic type role. So I think it's going to be well-rounded at anything. So
I definitely agree with that. It's useful for set for sure.
Absolutely.
And roles. What are your strengths as an actor?
My strengths, I personally believe that I am really good at understanding the characters I'm playing as people. I think I'm pretty good at I wouldn't say reading people per se, but understanding people, which is kind of different. I'm also really good at doing research. So if I get assigned a role, whether it's based off a real person or more of like an archetype, if it's an original character, just kind of, okay, who is this person? What happened to them? Why are they the way that they are? And then, coming across behaving in such a way that I believe truthfully represents how someone who had those experiences would be. Getting in their head, in other words.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just so immersed in your questions that I lost track of the list. Do you have a passport?
I don't. I want to get one. I've been meaning to. Actually might this year, but not presently, no.
What other skills do you have?
Frankly, not much as in specific regards to like filmmaking. I wouldn't say like I'm a super talented person in the sense of, I can't juggle, I don't sing. I used to play guitar, I need to get back into that. As it says, I did take Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for a little while,
Yes,
but I have not sparred in literally almost a decade, and I probably shouldn't have that on there. But I could get back into it, and I would be willing to if I was cast for a role that required it.
I'm also seeing you have weapons training, first aid training, outdoor survival knowledge.
Yeah.
So do you think you could apply that to a role that was, say, a war film?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, I was in the military, so yeah. I absolutely could,
okay.
yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah, shoot, move, communicate, medicate, I can do all that stuff.
Oh.
Can you speak another language or accents, or is there anything that you're learning in the progress?
Well, I do need to work on accents. I'd like to get at least like a kind of a New York type and a Southern as just basic stuff, so I can play characters from places that aren't Southern California. I did take French in school for a couple of years, but I am far out of practice. I would like to get back into that though, and I believe I could fairly quickly. Maybe not as like a convincing native speaker, but nonetheless to be able to communicate and be understood. It is ironic to me that I can't really do a Southern accent. I don't think convincingly as is, because I grew up with my grandmother who was from the South and was experienced, exposed to that
Right.
all throughout my childhood, but it just didn't click with me at all. So I don't know.
I guess it just also takes practice
Of
too.
course, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm studying voice acting right now too. So.
Oh, that's
hopefully get to,
wonderful. That'll be
work
a
on that
skill
little
set
bit.
to have.
Yeah.
On your special
Like I
skills.
said,
character
well-rounded.
voices.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Now, how far would you go to tell the story of a character?
I would say pretty far. Again, if I believed it was a role that was serious enough, and if the role I was cast for required it, then yeah, I wouldn't be, like if I was playing a character that was a complete jerk, I wouldn't be like, oh, I'm not going to do the method thing, I'm not going to be a jerk to my, castmates or to the crew, because I think that's just unethical. I think if your job requires that you treat other people badly, then, the job is wrong and not you for, you shouldn't comply with that just to be like, oh, I'm a true whatever. No, that's bullshit, I think. Excuse me. But definitely in terms of like physical transformations, like I would have no problem gaining weight. I could, I would prefer not to. Losing weight for sure, as long as it wasn't like, I wouldn't do like Christian Bale in The Machinist. But like getting more fit, definitely. Working on learning an accent, definitely. Stuff like, hair or like, heavy makeup, that type of stuff, no problem. And something that required that I seriously, like study a character, like for example, if it was like, oh, I'm playing a guy from, I don't know, like the meatpacking district in like South Boston or something like that. Yeah, sure. I'd go to Boston for a month and actually work with those guys and, kind of get into what is this culture like? How do they talk? How do they think? How do they act? I would definitely do that.
Right.
That's, I think, pretty reasonable.
I do have one last question.
Yes.
It seems that you have an extensive amount of film knowledge.
I do. I like to think.
That's great. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show from the past year? Something that really resonates
In
with
the
you?
past year, this might be recency bias. I just saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood a couple weeks ago for the first time. I missed the chance to see it in theaters. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. Top 3 Quentin Tarantino movie for me. I liked that it was different from what you typically expect from him. It was a lot more lighthearted, and it was more of a character study than plot driven for the most part, which I thought was a nice change of pace while still displaying a lot of his kind of trademarks.
Yeah.
As far as television shows, I'm trying to think offhand. What is a recent? It's just about to start airing again, but it's been on for a couple of years. I'm a huge fan of Better Call Saul.
Oh, yes.
Breaking Bad too. I actually like Better Call Saul better. I like that it's a little bit less over the top. Breaking Bad could be sometimes almost like, okay, this is a little too Hollywood. Like there's an airplane exploding and all. I mean, like he has like that cool machine gun. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but it's also a little like, okay, this is ridiculous. Better Call Saul, I think, is a little bit more grounded and down to earth, and I think it makes the characters and the scenarios that happen more relatable. Because I don't get me wrong, I think there's something to be said for like kind of fantastic elements in film and television, but I personally like things where I could see myself being in that situation as a regular guy, and when the people react as real people would react.
That's very good. Well, I don't believe we have any more questions. I agree.
Would you be interested in doing any like goofy Disney Channel kids shows as a principal or any?
It wouldn't be my
Or
first
if you
pick,
did.
but I would not categorically rule anything out.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think there's something to be said for storytelling in general. Like I love film and I love television because I love the premise, which is invoking an emotional response in the audience through storytelling. There's definitely, genre and whatnot is a taste thing, and taste is subjective. So sure, if I could get paid and have fun and make people happy by doing so, then I would do so.
All right. Well, that sounds great. Thank you so much,
Thank
DJ.
you.
I appreciate it. Here's your recipe. And have a cookie.
Actually, try to